Lee Smith.
And Nicole Smith.
And from Blood and Iron Martial Arts.
And today we're going to do an episode of Coaches Smith. We'd like to talk to you about training through the pandemic.
And the difficulties we've had, and the difficulties our students have had, and honestly, probably difficulties a lot of you have had as well.
Mm-hmm. And just give you some maybe tips and pointers on things that you can do if you happen to be trapped in your house.
So a lot of people, they may not be at risk, but like they have a close family member that's at risk that they take care of. So that stopped them from coming to the gym, number one. So this is a pretty difficult thing because a lot of people really love sword fighting, love their club. This is their social outlet. And all of a sudden, they have to stop doing this physical activity they like to do.
Not just the physical part of it, it's the social part of it too. So, all of a sudden your friends that you'd see 2-3 times a week, can't see you anymore.
All of a sudden, those pub nights and extracurricular outings that you were going to do, you did all the time, also no longer possible.
So, what happens when the place that you go to get fit won't let you in?
Well, we actually, I'll share some experience with you guys. Nicole and I, we have absolutely wonderful trainers on our channel, TJ Sider. Mm-hmm. So we train at his gym and has everything you could possibly want. All the machines I could need. And since my routine...
Machines, weights, bands, you name it, this guy's got it.
Yeah, but the thing is, that right there allows us to have a varied routine. And our routines are quite specialized. Mm-hmm. Because we have different needs as athletes.
We've been broken in different ways for a long time.
That's also very true. So when
we need professional help.
Oh, you're so nice. So what you don't see in our fighting is that the amount of training and physical preparation that goes in. And a lot of it is quite specialized. So not having a gym to go to for her and I has been a big problem.
Now, strength training is not just for, high-level athletes. Strength training will also help you in your martial art, just help you resist injury in general. So, we usually recommend some kind of strength training in addition to your martial art.
And we recommend it because you can't go wrong by being strong. Strength training, conditioning training helps you last longer on the floor. It helps you have a longer work time. It also makes you more resistant to injury. So it has lots of long-term benefits. So,
like I said, what do you do when your gym won't let you in? We did.
Yeah, well, we have a rack. So, our impact was lesser than some people, but it was still a large impact. There's only so much I can do with my rack and limited set of weights.
Well, not just that, but a lot of people have limited space. Well, you're going to set up a rack in your living room. Most people aren't.
You can't. And you know what? Push-ups and crunches and jumping jacks get boring really quick.
Yeah, this is true. But, there's always, the jogging or...
Oh, I hate running.
Oh, no, me too. Unless something's actually chasing me, you won't find me running. But some people seem to enjoy it. There's a lot of runners out there.
I've never seen you run in your life.
Because something's not scared enough to run away from yet.
That tells you a lot, people.
Stand and fight. No.
But consider that, right? So now your physical options are limited. You can get real good at cardio, but a lot of us rather get good at strength. So that's been a really big impact for Nicole and I. Like, we feel physically weaker, definitely not as strong as we were, mostly because we had to lose our time in our gym, and then we've moved, so now we're setting up a new gym, and there's no real places to work out here that we found yet that would fill the void for where we came from.
Mm-hmm. Qualicum Beach is a small town. I'm sure they have a gym somewhere. We just haven't found it yet.
And even then, I'll probably set up a gym to TJ standard anyway, just so I have somewhere to work out that is exactly what my coach wants me doing.
But for those of you that may be in the same boat, in a rural area, don't have anywhere to go to train, there are resources online where you can find, isometric exercise instruction, found things around your house you can use to train with. I think one of the more interesting ones I saw was some lady that was using milk jugs full of water as her, weight trainers.
Another thing to consider too, another thing we did, and it worked well for us, is we formed small pods. And this idea of having a training partner you can meet up with or working with. Blade Buddy. I like it. Right? Blade Buddy you can work with really helped us get through this. Like for me, I have Nicole, Steve, and TJ, who we all agreed to kind of form our little pandemic crew and work through a lot of our training with this small crew of people. Essentially, we're isolated from everyone else.
Mm-hmm. But, having that extra person that you can actually train with does go a long way. One of the things that happened when we were ordered to close down, like literally at some point, we got a letter from the Fraser Health Authority saying, you must shut your doors. And we went, what do we do? Well, we've been considering an online program for a while. It had been on paper and we'd sort of been discussing it, but that was the kicker. We had no choice but to launch because, well, our students needed something, and this was the answer.
We've been talking about it for years, by the way. You got our YouTube subscribers been bothering us, all you guys, like, hey, get this done. So now we're doing it. It's getting better. But at the same time as our students, our active students, were like, we need something now. Mm-hmm. So we worked day and night to come up with something that would help them get through the void, because realistically, you put a lot of our people are long term, and you put years and years of hard work in something, you don't want to lose it overnight.
No, absolutely. It was kind of a bumpy start, but we figured it out, and so far things are going pretty well. One of the things that really surprised me about the online program is how well people progress through online lessons. It was always a concern when we were talking about starting an online program. Like, my first thought was, how are people going to learn just watching this stuff? Apparently, pretty well.
We found through the online program that if people had things like Pels or a training buddy to bring to class, that they progress faster. It didn't mean that the people working solo, they didn't progress. They progressed as well. Just the rate was greater with a training aid like a Pel or a training buddy.
Having some person or some feedback off of your sword really helps you to understand certain concepts.
Well, the guy we could mention, who's been really like the keystone for us to develop the training around, was Joe Reed and his training partner Alex. We call them affectionately Long and Short Shanks because their height differential. They know they're watching this; they'll know who they're talking about. But watching them train together and improve was a dramatic increase from like day one to now. It's just been absolutely awesome.
Training partners, always a bonus.
Pel, we got like our student Titus from California. He has a training partner yet, but I mean, he's the first to build a Pel, and you can already see now that there's Pel to work with. Well, during our online class, again, his progress has also just skyrocketed. Literally been incredible.
Well, having either a Pel or a partner will also help you with your understanding distance management. You know, how close you need to be to a target. I mean, it's one thing to do it solo and try to visualize how far away your opponent is, but having something in front of you makes it that much easier.
That's one thing that we found, like through online training, that we were able to give a lot to people as instructors that they may not have had before. Because again, finding good instruction, I mean, even if you live in a major city center, it's still tricky.
Oh God, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that popped up online as soon as a lot of places closed, and it seemed to be anybody who thought themselves an authority on sword fighting put a camera in front of themselves and they were trying to lead lessons. Well, sometimes you get what you pay for.
Yeah, that's also true, right? The idea of get what you pay for, that is a real thing. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of good Filipino martial artists I've seen do lessons online as well, and actually doing quite well with it, which is nice to see that information spread. It's like any martial arts, like it is buyer beware, no matter how you look at it. A person could have 50 master titles and not know how to cut with a sword, or they could be self-taught and be one of the best fighters on earth. It's just buyer beware.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, yeah, on the bright side, with these kind of opportunities open, now the person like yourself, they can go out and they can essentially learn from who they want to learn from, see people who are offering programs, and essentially a style of fighting that they themselves can identify with and wish to emulate. They have direct access to these people now, which is, I think that's actually been the only positive thing from this pandemic.
Now, if we're talking about blade buddies, training pods, however you want to look at them, if you can find a way to organize one, the benefits are huge. Having that little group that agrees to sort of limit themselves to, okay, just us 4, or just us 3, or even just us 2, at least give you someone to work with, and will help your training immeasurably.
And it's not just helping your training immeasurably. It's helping you be motivated. Because it's one thing if it's just you and you let yourself down and be like, yeah, I can play video games and train tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes. You're just always doing that cycle. When you make yourself accountable to someone else and that person's accountable to you, then suddenly now you don't want to let your friend down. And so the training is no longer just about you and that motivation. It's amplified because now you have a reason to go out and train. And that person won't take that excuse, right? And this is a good thing. Holding each other accountable as training partners is one of the most important things you can do.
Guilt yourself into training. It's awesome.
So I think we'll see that as well. Like 2, 3, 4-person training pods will take place of some people's clubs for time being.
Mm-hmm. And, some clubs are actually starting to trickle open. I know our location in Langley has started opening up a little bit. Most people are limiting class sizes, taking extra precautions as far as, wiping down gear and sanitizing, and you wash your hands and wear your mask. And there are ways that you can train now. It's all about finding a way to do it and keeping everyone safe.
The other thing too to consider is that not being afraid to move around or do what has to be done. We had one large location, now we have 2 smaller locations. This was directly as a result of this pandemic.
What it came down to basically is if we're only letting 8 people on the floor at a time, having a space that holds 15 to 20 doesn't really make sense. So we found something smaller that will accommodate our smaller numbers, and who knows, one of these days if we're allowed to have more people on the floor, maybe we'll find a bigger space.
Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe actually it's on the other side, on the other flip side, maybe that in this sense too, with a smaller, more affordable space, we can really focus back on more quality training and less worrying about the numbers. So I think there's some good to have come out of this. It's hard to say there's good, but to say there's potential good out of this situation, well, I think it depends on what you make of it. It's like the saying, lemons and lemonade. Well, sometimes you got to make lemonade. This is probably not lemons, though. So our challenges, we're keeping each other motivated because with our move and everything else and moving schools, everything going on this year, it's been pretty hard. Mm-hmm. But we're still doing something. We try and work on something every day, whether it's cutting, whether it's solo drills, whether it's our own knowledge, or even like extracurricular activities like food gathering, oysters, fishing.
Oysters have been a big thing.
Yeah, we have got a lot of oysters lately. But these are things that we've decided to take on as a new learning skill. So, very important stuff. For us, at least, to keep ourselves mentally healthy and mentally active. Whether that's, and for the rest of you guys, taking online courses like what we offer now, or even going back to university, taking a few online courses there, or maybe gaining a new skill through that's not related to HEMA, is something that you should consider doing during this pandemic while the timing is there.
Put that energy into something positive.
I know a lot of people are just hiding in the video games, but realistically, this time, as much as it's stressful, it's trying, there's always a way to improve yourself. And I'm seeing a lot of people do that, which is encouraging.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Some very positive things happening and people putting time into themselves, which, haven't had time to do. So
to wrap it up, realistically, you can do your own isometric training, running, lifting heavy things, etc., to the best of your ability.
Look at finding a training partner.
Blade buddy.
Form your own little pod. Anything that'll help keep you accountable to your training. That's also really important because, like we said, it's so easy just to say, I'll get to it tomorrow.
Even the most disciplined people have these problems, so don't feel bad about it.
Just start over.
Yeah, literally tomorrow comes tomorrow. Don't be afraid to take online courses. Right? It doesn't have to be a HEMA course. It doesn't have to even be a martial arts course.
Learn a language.
Do something to keep your mind active. So go out and do something for you in the real world. Make you better. Take this time. Make you a better person. Make you stronger. Make you more knowledgeable. Learn a new skill. Something.
Mm-hmm. Training through pandemic doesn't necessarily mean physical training. Training brain works too.
Healthy body and healthy mind. They go together. So this has been our episode, Coach Smith, and our thoughts on training through the pandemic. Please like and subscribe. So what did they always say is like, please like and subscribe, right? We're supposed to be doing this stuff, talking to Julia and stuff. Mm-hmm. So how about this? Smash like button.
Yes, that.
Smash subscribe. Smash. Like that?
Yes, like that.
Okay. Smash. Till next time.
See you later.